Imagine a little boy. He is 10 years old. He is sitting alone in a cold room, and he is crying. Not because he is hurt, but because his father is gone. His father died just a few months ago, and now his mother is sick too. Very sick. This little boy does not know what will happen to him. He does not know where he will live. His name was Nicolaus Copernicus. He was born on February 19th, 1473, in a town called Torun, in the land we now call Poland. His family was not poor. His father was a successful merchant, a man who traded copper and other goods, and his mother came from a good family too. So young Nicholas had a comfortable life at first. He had 3 older brothers and sisters, and they lived together in a warm, busy home. But when Nicholas was only 10 years old, everything changed. His father died, just like that. The man who gave the family safety and love was gone. His mother became very sick soon after, and one by one the children needed a new home. But Nicholas was lucky, not because life became easy, but because one man stepped forward. His name was Lucas Vatsenrode. He was Nicholas's uncle, a powerful man, a bishop of the Catholic Church, and he loved his nephew very much. Uncle Lucas looked at young Nicholas and said, "You will not be forgotten, my boy. I will take care of you." And he did. He gave Nicholas food, shelter, and most importantly, he gave him an education. Because Uncle Lucas believed something very strongly. He believed that knowledge was power, and he wanted his nephew to have both. At the age of 18, Nicholas went to the University of Krakow. This was one of the best universities in all of Europe at that time, and Nicholas loved it. He studied mathematics, painting, Latin, and Greek. But one subject made his heart beat faster than all the others: astronomy, the study of the stars and planets. Now, in those days, everyone believed one simple thing. The Earth was the center of the universe. The sun moved around the Earth. The planets moved around the Earth. Everything in the sky moved around the Earth. This idea had been taught for more than 1,000 years. It came from an ancient Greek thinker named Ptolemy, and no one questioned it. No one, except Nicholas. When he sat in his lectures and listened to his teachers talk about the sky, something inside him felt uncomfortable. The numbers didn't seem right to him. The movements of the planets seemed too complicated, too messy. He kept thinking, there must be a simpler answer. Nature does not like to be complicated. But he was still just a young student. He didn't say anything yet. He kept his questions hidden inside his mind, like small seeds, waiting for the right moment to grow. When Nicholas was 23 years old, his uncle sent him to Italy, to the University of Bologna. This was a huge moment for him, because Italy in the 1490s was the center of the world. Art, science, music, philosophy, everything was happening there. It was the time of the Great Renaissance, a time when people were beginning to think in new ways. And Nicholas breathed it all in. He studied law, as his uncle wanted. But every night, when his books were closed, he went outside with a simple instrument, and he watched the stars. He met a brilliant astronomer at Bologna named Domenico Maria Novara, and together they made careful observations of the sky. Nicholas began to see patterns that excited him. He began to see that the official story about the universe did not match what he actually saw. He then moved to the University of Padua, where he studied medicine, and then to the University of Ferrara, where he finally received his degree in canon law. 7 years in Italy. 7 years of learning, watching, questioning. He was becoming one of the most educated men in all of Europe. But the greatest idea of his life had not been written down yet. It was still just a feeling. a powerful, burning feeling that something was wrong with the way humans understood the sky. Nicolaus came back home to Poland. His uncle gave him a job as a church official, a canon of the Frombork Cathedral. This was a stable, respected position. He helped manage church business. He worked as a doctor for the poor people of the town. He gave free medical care to many who could not pay. And slowly, quietly, he built himself a small observatory in a tower near the cathedral. Just a simple room, really. With a few instruments he made himself. And there, night after night, he did what he had always done since he was a boy. He watched the sky. He was not rich. He was not famous. He was just a quiet man in a small northern town, living a simple life. But inside that quiet life, a revolution was growing. It happened slowly, not in one magical moment, but over many years of watching, calculating, and thinking. Nicolaus Copernicus came to a conclusion so shocking that he was afraid to tell anyone. He wrote it down in a small manuscript, just a few pages, that he shared privately with a few trusted friends. And what did it say? It said this: "The Earth is not the center of the universe. The Sun is the center. The Earth moves around the Sun, and the Earth also spins on its own axis every single day." Think about what this means. For over 1,000 years, every single person on Earth believed they were standing still, at the center of everything. And here was this quiet man, in a small tower, in a cold northern town, saying, "No, we are moving. We have always been moving. We just never knew it." This idea had a name: heliocentrism. Helio, meaning sun. Centrism, meaning center. The sun-centered universe. It was one of the most important ideas in all of human history. But here is something that many people do not know about Copernicus. He was afraid. For nearly 30 years, he did not publish his great idea. He kept it hidden. Why? Because in those days, the church was very powerful, and the church taught that the earth was the center of the universe. If you disagreed with the church, you could lose everything: your job, your reputation, your freedom, maybe even your life. And so Copernicus waited. He worked quietly. He refined his calculations. He made his model more and more perfect. But he did not speak. Some people today might ask, was he a coward? But think about it differently. He was a careful man, a patient man. He knew that if he published his idea too soon, without perfect evidence, the idea would be rejected and destroyed. He wanted to wait until his proof was so strong that no one could simply laugh it away. He was playing a long game, a very, very long game. Then, one day in 1539, a young German mathematician arrived in Frombork. His name was Georg Joachim Rheticus. He was 25 years old, brilliant, enthusiastic, and full of energy. He had heard rumors about Copernicus, about this secret idea, about a new model of the universe, and he traveled all the way from Germany just to meet him. Rheticus spent 2 years with Copernicus. He read the manuscript. He studied the calculations, and he was amazed. He said to Copernicus, "This is too important to keep hidden. The world needs to know." It was Rheticus who finally convinced the old man to publish. And so, at the age of nearly 70, Nicolaus Copernicus agreed. His great book would finally be printed. The book was called On the Revolutions of the Celestial Spheres. It was printed in the city of Nuremberg, Germany, in the year 1543. And when a copy of the book was brought to Copernicus, he was already dying. He had suffered a stroke. He was very weak. But they placed the book in his hands, and he held it. He touched the cover. His book. His life's work. His truth. He died just a few hours later, on May 24th, 1543. He was 70 years old. He never got to see the world change. He never got to hear the arguments, the debates, the praise. He simply let go, holding the book that would shake the foundations of human knowledge. forever. But the story did not end there. After Copernicus published his book, something incredible happened. Other brilliant minds picked up his idea and carried it even further. Galileo Galilei used a telescope to find proof that Copernicus was right. Johannes Kepler improved the model and showed how planets move around the sun. Isaac Newton explained why they move. Because of gravity. One after another, each new scientist built on the work of Copernicus. Like builders adding floors to a great building that he had started from the ground. Today, we call what Copernicus started the Copernican Revolution, not just because it changed astronomy, but because it changed the way humans think. Before Copernicus, humans believed they were at the center of everything. Special, protected, unmovable. After Copernicus, we understood something much more humbling. We are on a small planet, moving through a vast universe. We are not the center. We are just a part of something much, much bigger. And that idea, that one brave, patient idea, made modern science possible. So what can we learn from the life of Nicolaus Copernicus? He was an orphan, a boy who lost his father and his mother while he was still a child. He had no power, no fame, no guarantee that his life would mean anything. But he had curiosity, he had patience, and he had the courage to believe in something, even when no one else could see what he could see. He didn't shout his idea from the rooftops. He worked quietly, carefully, for decades. He revised, he improved, he waited. He knew that truth does not need to be rushed. Truth only needs to be real. He was afraid, and he published anyway. He was dying, and he held his book with joy, because he knew that some ideas are bigger than one person. Some ideas belong to all of humanity, and here is the most beautiful part of his story. He never wanted to be famous. He never wanted power. He just wanted to answer a question. The same question he asked as a 10-year-old boy, standing at a cold window, looking up at the stars. Why do the stars move? And the answer he found moved not just the stars in our imagination, but the entire human mind. Forward, into the light. Thank you for watching. You enjoyed this video. Please click like bottom. And if you want to hear more amazing life stories from history, in simple, beautiful English, then please subscribe to Storytelling English right now.